Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the new poem, Geography lesson, Module 1. In this module, you're going to know more about the poet Brian Patton and you will understand the deeper meanings underlying in the words. Now, this is a picture of author Brian Patton. He was born on February 1946. He's an English poet and author. He came to prominence in 1960s as one of the Liverpool poets and writes primarily lyrical poetry about human relationships. His famous works include Little Johnny's Confessions, The Irrelevant Song, Vanishing Trick, Emma's Doll, Impossible Parents, amongst many others. So he's from Liverpool. Let's read something more about Brian Patton, which is given in your textbook. Brian Patton was born in 1946 in Liverpool, England. He is a popular poet and performer and a children's author. His poems are about the richness of life and imagination. His collections of poetry include Gargling with Jelly and Poeing Frozen Frogs. Geography lesson is a poem about the valuable lessons the speaker learned from the unfulfilled dreams of travel that his geography teacher had. So this poem is about a teacher whose dreams go unfulfilled. He was a good teacher, though everybody forgot his name. The lessons that he learned stayed in the minds of the students as long as they lived, and his lessons were filled on the classroom walls even when he was not alive. So let's see what were the dreams of this geography teacher. Geography lesson. Our teacher told us one day he would leave and sail across a warm blue sea to places he had only known from maps and all his life had longed to be. The house he lived in was narrow and grey, but in his mind's eye he could see sweet scented jasmine clinging to the walls and green leaves burning on an orange tree. So, uh, this teacher always talked about the beautiful places on the maps, and he always would tell them, I just wish to go. I intensely desire to go to these places. These places are so beautiful and bright. And I want to sail across the warm blue sea and reach the places that is in this map, those beautiful places. In my whole life, I have been longing to go to these places. Longing means desiring, like longly desired. Like longing means intensely desired to go to these places, and but he never was able to. In real life, his house was very narrow and grey. Narrow and grey means small and without colors. It was dull. It was small and dull. It lacked colors. It was not so bright as the beautiful houses we see. He did not have the money to beautifully decorate it, so his house was narrow and grey. But in his mind's eye, he could see sweet scented jasmine clinging to the walls and green leaves burning on an orange tree. So, but in his mind's eye means in his imagination, though his house was dull and small, in his imaginations he has got beautiful sweet scented jasmines on the walls and green bright leaves on the orange tree. All these things filled up his minds. In his mind's places were so beautiful, though in his real life it was not so. He spoke of the lands he longed to visit, where it was never drab or cold. I couldn't understand why he never left and shook off the school's stranglehold. Then, halfway through his final term, he took ill and never returned, and he never got to that place on the map where the green leaves of the orange trees burned. So, see, he always talked about the lands he liked to visit, which was never drab or cold, which was never dull or cold. It was always bright and beautiful. And this little boy, who's a speaker, he's telling, I don't know why our teacher didn't go to those places. Why couldn't he shake off all these school's problems? Why couldn't he, the little boy is thinking that the teacher is tied to the a string of duties and responsibilities towards the school. So he was thinking, why can't he break those strings and go away and chase his dreams? Stranglehold means the complete control of the teacher. Why can't he break the control of the school and go away? He was just thinking, why couldn't he, if he loved to go to these places, why couldn't he go? This little boy did not understand that his teacher did not have the money to leave the job and go somewhere, and also he did not have the money to to travel to these places, and he can't leave his job too. That was his means of survival. Maybe he has got a family to look after, so he could not chase his dreams. Always he was a truth, he was very faithful and sincere to his family, so he was always taking care of them. He did not have money, or he did not have time to take care of himself. Then halfway through his final term, he took ill and never returned. So this teacher, when the year was half, he was sick and he did not come back to the school. That means he died. And but and he was never able to visit the places he loved to, where the greens of the orange trees burned, where there was beautiful bright orange trees with very bright green leaves. He was not able to visit all those places. The maps were redrawn on the classroom wall. His name was forgotten, it faded away. But a lesson he never knew, he taught, is with me to this day. I traveled to where the green leaves burn, to where the ocean's glass clear and blue, to all those places my teacher taught me to love, but which he never knew. So once this teacher died, everybody forgot his name, everybody forgot about him. But the lessons that he taught, the maps were drawn on the classroom wall, the lessons were that he taught were on the classroom wall, were in the minds of the children. The lessons that he taught were not forgotten by anyone. It was in their mind, and also it was there on the, it was reproduced by the children on the classroom wall. But the lesson that he taught, though everybody forgot his name, the lesson that he taught still continues to be inside the mind of our speaker, this little boy. When he grew up, also, the lessons that this geography teacher stayed in his mind. He learned that though we have to look after everyone, we have to take care of all the responsibilities and duties, we have to find some time and money for ourselves. We have to chase our dreams. If we love to do something, you have to do it. Then only your life will be fulfilled. So this little boy, he is telling that he traveled to all those places which his teacher taught him to love. Through the teacher's words, he started loving those places. And when he grew up, those places which he loved, he visited. The places that his geography teacher wished to visit, but he was never able to do so. So this poem has got a lot of inner meanings. It depicts the life of a ordinary teacher, which he does not make much earnings. It is a simple life. He does not have uh, money for extravaganza, and also this lesson teaches us that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to chase our dreams too. Though we have duties and responsibilities towards others, we have to find some time for ourselves, some money for ourselves. And at once in a while, we have to break all those strings and chase our dreams, not thinking of what others will think, what we have to offer the others. Just for some time, little bit of time and little bit of money should be kept for ourselves. So that's a beautiful poem written by Brian Patton. Now these are the questions. Try answering these questions and write these answers in your notebooks. Your TMLA. This is your TMLA. There are two columns. The first column is the teacher's dreams, and the second column is teacher's life. In first, one example is given. The teacher's dream. In the teacher's dream, it is a warm blue sea, but in his real life, it is his house is narrow and grey. Similarly, you have to find some of the teacher's dreams, two of the teacher's dreams, and fill in the first column. And in the second column, something from his real life should be filled in the second column. And to see the contrast between these words. Now, appreciating the poem, this also is your TMLA. Often there is more than a literal meaning to the lines in a poem. We know the speaker is trying to tell us something more by his choice of words. The speaker is not just talking about the places that teacher didn't go, but about the dreams and our life, the richness of our life, how we should take our life, how should we treat ourselves. All these are taught or told, and also it tells about the strings of the responsibilities, the strings of commitment towards others are all mentioned in these lines. So now try answering these questions. First one, the house he lived was narrow and grey. Was the teacher's life exciting? You have to answer whether it was an exciting life. What do the words narrow and grey suggest? What are the meanings of narrow? And it does not have the real meaning of narrow or grey here. It has got inner meanings. You have to write that. I couldn't understand why he never left and shook off the school's strange hold. Explain the use of the word, sorry, not strange hold, it is strangled hold. Explain the use of the word stranglehold. Why does he use the word stranglehold? Was the job good for the teacher? Was it enough for him to fulfill all his dreams? Was this job good for the teacher? And you also have to explain the word stranglehold. What all inner meanings have the poet given to the word stranglehold? That's all. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.